Coming up, teachers learning how to fire up the next generation of pilots. A new flagship headset from Bose.
And using GA to serve in Mexico. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Rudinger.
Mooney is shut down, the workers laid off, and the factory in Kerrville, it's shuttered. And owners are wondering what it means to them. Hi, I'm Warren Morningstar, in for Melissa Rudinger.
The company has been down this road before, of course, with many previous owners and a string of bankruptcies over the decades. Latest owner, a Chinese firm, infused much-needed capital into the brand over the past few years, but apparently wasn't enough. Mooney owners are concerned what it can mean to the future of parts availability. Jolie Lucas is part of the Mooney Ambassadors and Mooney Girls. She produced a documentary film about the company and owns a Mooney. She thinks there's still a bright future for the company if the next management team looks at opportunities in the training market.
In my opinion, I believe that there's opportunities available in the training market and getting a training airplane. I believe that Mooney could position itself to become a leader in that.
AOPA is working to hear from company leaders about this. A voicemail greeting at the company says all employees are furloughed and they'll be unable to respond to inquiries.
Yeah, we have seen this before with Mooney.
We have, unfortunately, seen it go through this process of either bankruptcy or at least, long periods of being out of production. So let's hope it's that, and that we, in fact, see them come back and particularly keep parts moving, because as those who own Moonies obviously know, it could be a real challenge.
Well, but it's such a great airplane. It really should not be out of production.
Right, yeah. It's a classic for sure.
Absolutely. And while the closure of Mooney is bad news for the industry, there is good news about the number of pilots. We have seen 2 years of growth in GA. The number of student, private, and commercial certificates were up in 2017 and 2018. The increase over the last 2 years is small, but it's notable. The industry efforts to grow the pilot community are working, and AOPA's You Can Fly initiative focuses on several areas to grow the pilot community. This week, the focus was high school teachers at the AOPA Aviation STEM symposium. Over 350 educators came out to the United Airlines Training Center in Denver for the event. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran has more.
Thrust. Finish the pleasure.
Oh, you thrust. Terrain. Oh, up.
Kevin Moss was one of the few fortunate teachers who got to fly one of United Airlines Level D simulators. He practiced emergency procedures in a 737 and experienced how realistic the simulation is. It was just one of many amazing opportunities teachers had at the AOPA Aviation STEM Symposium. The experiences inspired teachers who will then inspire their students.
Well, the goal for the symposium is to make more people aware of what we're doing by offering this 4-year aviation STEM curriculum for high school students, and also to support the teachers and school districts and other groups who want to use it for their students.
The key message: teachers make a difference in the lives of students every day. Keynote speaker Air Force Lieutenant General Jacqueline Van Ovost shared how teachers changed her life.
See, my high school was a Title I high school with a large minority and economically disadvantaged. But that does not matter when we have people like you, talented, passionate educators. In particular, I had 2 pretty stubborn math teachers. They saw talent, and they were relentless in their pursuit.
The story inspired Bakersfield, California teacher Megan Dudo.
Her story of coming from a Title I school, which we are too, and her humble beginnings, and then just being inspired by a teacher, and she's a 3-star general, and she's speaking to us, so it makes, for me to be able to go back and tell my students, she came from the exact same background as you. You have no excuse, and it's pretty powerful.
Former U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds lead Kevin Robbins emphasized the power of good teachers along with the value of aviation in the classroom.
I think aviation is an incredible teacher that teaches you life lessons that you can carry into any type of business. You can carry into relationships, your family. But when you step to an airplane to fly, those laws of aerodynamics don't change for you. You have to treat it with a reverence. And so I would say it's a beautiful thing to start into and treat it with respect and take the lessons that it teaches you and apply them to the rest of your life.
And these life lessons are making a difference in bringing tangible results.
This is a really important moment to be bringing aviation to the classroom. Not only do we have a pilot shortage, but there are shortages for technicians, for maintenance teams, for avionics. There are so many opportunities for students in a way that there maybe have never been before. So it's really wonderful to be able to give them a chance to learn about those careers and start preparing them for them right now.
Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
The high school curriculum is free for schools to use thanks to generous donations to the AOPA Foundation. AOPA currently offers the curriculum for 9th and 10th graders. 11th grade is coming soon, and you can find all of the keynote sessions from the symposium on the AOPA Live YouTube channel. High school aviation education is one of the 4 legs of the You Can Fly program. All of the You Can Fly initiatives received a very high honor this week, the National Aeronautic Association's prestigious Brewer Trophy. The award honors significant contributions of enduring value to aerospace education in the United States. AOPA President and CEO Mark Baker says it's a big honor.
Getting recognized for what our donors have done, what the staff has done, what the market sees in the You Can Fly, particularly the high school program, very rewarding. I'm very excited to accept the award on behalf of all the people that have made this happen, and it makes me feel really good.
Mark accepted the award at an event in D.C. this week. Gil Rob Wilson, founder of the Civil Air Patrol and AOPA member number 1, received the award back in 1964.
Bose is celebrating the release of its new top-of-the-line aviation headset. Bose introduced the first noise-canceling headset 30 years ago, hard to believe. I had a chance to check out their latest technology on a recent flight.
So we're in the new Bose ProFlight Series 2 headset. It's came out a couple of years ago. The original version, they came out with the Series 2 just recently. It's quite a departure, of course, from the more traditional over-the-ear kind of headset that Bose has been known for. This version is meant typically for turbine airplanes or airplanes with quieter cockpit. It doesn't have over-the-ears, which makes it actually a lot more comfortable, a lot lighter. It does have this earbud-style sort of connector on here that does a good job of keeping things quiet. It is active noise canceling, so works pretty well. It definitely requires that you increase the radio volume more than you might using the more traditional headset, and also it takes a little bit longer to put it in. You got to get these earbuds in just right. But when you do, and in a quiet cockpit like in this Citation M2 that we're flying today, it does give you a nice light headset for this kind of environment. Got a lot of neat technologies, Bluetooth, of course, so you can Bluetooth your phone. If a passenger comes up and wants to ask you a question, you can just double tap the right earbud, for example, and it shuts the noise attenuation off for that side only, and you can have your conversation with the passenger, and then just double tap it again and turn that back on. So a lot of clever features and really light headset.
Pretty amazing what they can stuff into that little headset, I got to tell you.
Well, I like that little bit about being able to double tap so that you can hear what's going on outside. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, and there are some people who prefer that for takeoff so that you can get a real sense of what's happening with the engine. So it's easy to just put them on, leave it that way, and kind of in the silent mode for attenuation, then double tap it and bring it back on once you get into the climb and feel like everything's coming.
So now the most important question.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to give the review product back to Bose?
Of course I am. That's what we do.
Okay. And a very happy birthday to the 99s. The iconic women's flying organization is celebrating 90 years this month. It was founded in November 1929 at Curtis Field on Long Island. There were 117 women pilots at that time. Each one was invited. 99 showed up and became charter members at the very first meeting. Amelia Earhart, the first president.
I think a legacy lives on through inspiration. Our charter members, their legacy is they inspired the women who became the WASP. And the WASP, they inspired the women who became our airline pilots and our military pilots and women astronauts. And they inspired the women who are now our women military fighter pilots. And then in parallel, they all inspired women that just enjoy flying of all ages, because flying is our passion and we love to fly.
The 99s marked the milestone with a 1920s themed gala and dinner in Oklahoma City. So congratulations to the 99s, and they really are doing great work still to get young women interested in aviation.
Right. A lot of scholarships, a lot of programs out there to get them engaged. It's wonderful to see.
And we do need to see more, because we're still looking at about 5% of the pilot population is female. So
that's amazing that it's still that low.
So we'd like to see more. Well, when we come back, pilots standing up for their airport and winning.
Plus, General Aviation serving Mexico. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's cold in a lot of these United States this week. Makes sense, it is November after all, but as the big chill sets in, you may be using a feature of your airplane that hasn't been touched in maybe 6 months. That'd be cabin heat. In most airplanes, that heat comes from a thermal exchanger around the exhaust manifold, and if it's not in perfect condition, you could easily introduce deadly carbon monoxide into the cabin. An article on our website encourages you to have the system inspected by a qualified A&P before you use it for the year. It's also a good idea to test or replace your carbon monoxide detector. Find the full piece on the AOPA website. And now a heads up for Bonanza owners. An airworthiness directive for more than 4,100 of them, or us, as the case may be, requiring inspection of the right aileron flight control cable and fittings and replacing damaged cable assemblies. It comes after the FAA reviewed 17 reports of right aileron flight control cable and fitting failures. Basically, could you lose control of your right aileron, leading to an uncommanded roll and possible loss of control. Owners and operators will have 30 days after November 22nd to perform the required inspection. It's going to cost around $425 per aircraft, estimates the FAA. Read more and find a link on the AD on our website.
And pilots are stepping up to help save a beloved airport in Maine, and it's actually working. The Charles A. Chase Jr. Memorial Airport in Dover-Foxcroft was on the chopping block. Local officials wanted to axe the airport and put in a solar power array. Pilots have rallied around the strip. It's popular among taildragger pilots. They even held a fly-in to the site this past weekend. At a city meeting this week, local officials listened to the outpouring of support from aviators. Our Northeast Regional Rep, Sean Collins, was at the meeting. He reports that the city voted to look for another place for the solar array, and they also named a new airport manager, and this time it's a pilot.
What a great concept. General Aviation works as a magic carpet for community service. Airplanes allow those wishing to serve their fellow man ease of access to some pretty far-flung places. AOPA Senior Features Editor Julie Summers-Walker takes us along as a GA helps volunteers serve those in need down in San Quintin, Mexico.
It's a gray, overcast day as pilot Michael Gableman breaks through the clouds in his Cherokee 6 on the descent into a dirt strip in rural Mexico. Mike is one of several pilots flying on this mission. Volunteers and their gear are stuffed into these Pipers and Cessnas. Dentists, doctors, hygienists, and pilots flew from their suburban homes for a long weekend of service for California-based organization Mission Flight.
Mission Flight is a public benefit nonprofit organization. We use general aviation to serve people in need.
And there is great need here. Most residents work as migrant field workers, harvesting berries and other fruits and vegetables that are shipped around the world.
It's a very, very poor existence. The average salary is between $9 and $9.25 per day, usually about 11-hour work day, 6 days a week.
The workers are offered free housing, but conditions in these compounds are appalling. Entire families live in an 8 by 10 foot box. No mattress, just a slab floor with no running water. The conditions here lead to a variety of health problems, and one of the most pressing needs is in dental care. The workers can't afford to go to the dentist, and so they are forced to live with painful dental issues. So the dental care offered by the mission flight volunteers is life-changing.
One of the first trips that I had done, we had served an older lady who had significant dental need. And she was in such chronic pain for so many years, but she was a migrant field worker. And she had been crying out to God, saying, God, help me. And there was no help available. And then she heard about our clinic and she came. And when her tooth was extracted and she got antibiotics, the relief that she felt, she was so grateful and she was so appreciative that it compels me to return and it compels me to continue to serve.
The doctors and dentists are only able to reach these people in need because of general aviation.
We saw over 300 patients combined with medical, dental, chiropractic. And now we're heading home. We'll be home at 2 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. So general aviation, without that, we would not be able to support this area that has this need.
For the pilots and medical professionals who come to serve here, it's a rewarding experience.
It gives a joy and a purpose to why, we have this gift of flight.
And Mission Flight is looking for more pilots to help.
We have a lot of resources in the States. We have a lot of need down here, but there's a bottleneck. And we want to increase this bottleneck so that more resources can get down to where the need is. We need general aviation pilots.
And you don't need a super high performance airplane and tons of hours of flying experience to go. Mission Flight is looking for private pilots with an instrument rating and basic single engine airplane. The weekend mission trips are a lot of work, but the volunteers say it's worth it.
The reward is immense. I really, really love when we have first-time volunteers and they say, I'm going to go to Mexico and I'm going to impact them and I'm going to bless them and I'm going to, and always at the end of the trip they realize that they were blessed 100 times more than they ever imagined themselves personally.
Julie Walker, AOPA Live.
You can read more about Mission Flight Mexico in the December edition of AOPA Pilot Magazine. Wow.
There are so many good people out there in our community.
There really are, and what a tremendous way to use a general aviation airplane to make a big difference.
Absolutely, and it doesn't take much to volunteer for something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's the show for this week. Like, comment, and please subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Send us your thoughts. The address is there on your screen, and we'll see you back here next Thursday.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.